So, you've got an old car that you have a lot of fun with, but it needs a little bit of work and you're not real sure about doing it yourself or where to bring it to. I got a solution. My name's Mark, I'm from Let's Go Car Cruising, and today I'm in the little town of Mendon, Massachusetts at Peluso Precision Automotive. And we're going to go inside, take a look around, talk to Steve, and get the tour. So let's go inside. All right, hi Steve. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Mark.
Hope your winter's going well.
Yeah, I'm glad it's almost over.
It's almost over.
Car season's just about here.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Tell me a little bit about the business and how long you've been here and what goes on here.
This is Peluso Precision Automotive, 93 Blackstone Street in Mendon. And this started officially October 2017. I ran a transmission shop in Boston for 33 years. And Boston was getting a little bit just too much. And so we came here, and my specialty is vintage cars and vintage transmissions. People bring me cars from all over the place. And like this car is from the South Shore. I had a 52 Pontiac Tin Woody wagon that came to me from New York. And you know, I pick and choose what I do. I'm one guy, I'm one old guy, so.
Well, not too old.
Well, old enough that I shouldn't have to be doing this, but this is what I do. And I just do what I can, and I get people calling me all the time, hey, can you do this, can you do that? Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no.
Sure. So my idea was, and we talked a little bit earlier, that there are people out there that have old cars that don't know how to work on them. Mm-hmm. And there are old people out there that have older cars that are getting older and are not really physically able to work on them anymore. Mm-hmm. And finding a shop that has someone other than a young kid that wants to plug a computer in and throw parts at something is kind of tough to find now.
It is.
So you're an asset to the car collector hobby, and I thought it'd be a good idea to come down and kind of see what's going on. So I guess we could probably start with this one up on the lift. What is it?
This is a 49 Buick Super Estate Wagon.
Wow.
And it's got real wood, if you can see it.
Yep.
It's got the smaller straight 8. The Supers and the Specials had the smaller straight 8. The Roadmaster had the bigger 320 straight 8. And Buick used straight 8 across the board until 1952. In 1953, the Roadmaster and the Super got the 322 V8, and the Special still had this, I believe it's a 263 straight 8.
Okay.
And this, as you see, it says Dynaflow on the rear quarter.
Yep.
Because it's an automatic. If this car was a manual transmission, it would say Super on the rear quarter.
Oh, okay.
But this is a Dynaflow, which is not my favorite transmission, and as far as I'm concerned, it's slow. But people liked Dynaflow because it was smooth. The Dynaflows didn't upshift. You just put it in drive and you went. Kind of like an early version of the CVT transmission. The torque converter was giving you everything, and it looked good on paper. It wasn't really good for acceleration, but especially with a straight 8. But you know, Buick used the Dynaflow from 1948 to 1963. So
they were pretty dependable.
They were. They leaked, but these cars had a torque tube up until 1960. So if you have to take the transmission out, you have to jack the rear end back or take the rear end out.
Oh.
And yeah, so it's a little more difficult, but it's not terrible. I've done enough of them over the years.
So how did this guy find you?
Funny story about this guy. This was sent to me by a shop on the South Shore. I bought a car from him, 6-7 years ago. And it was a 66 Bonneville convertible. And it was basically parked in the Atlantic Ocean. And if I showed you pictures of it, you'd see.
Ooh.
And he has a shop. And he brought me his wife's 49 Oldsmobile. I believe it was a 49 Oldsmobile, and I did the transmission on that. And he called me about this car here. He says, can you take care of that? I goes, yes, I can. And so it's here.
So here it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
In the collector hobby, I mean,
Yeah.
a good name gets around.
Yeah.
Good. So, okay, well, what do we got going on here?
The transmission is out of the car.
Okay.
The oil pan is off the car. And now this person, as you see this by this monstrosity tow hitch, this person likes to tow a boat trailer in a parade. Oh. That's about the only thing he uses this car for. So they
but it's
added,
cool.
It is. They added these helper springs to keep the car up. And now you see this is off because we had to draw the rear end back to disconnect it out of the transmission. But it's a very nice car. It's very solid. The interior is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of a different color. I have a color deficiency, so everybody says, oh, it's got like a purple to it. But it's just a very, very nice car.
And the Woodies are classic.
Oh, yeah. And some cars of this vintage looked like they were Woodies, like the Chevrolet wagons and the Pontiac wagons, but they were what was called tin Woodies. The wood was painted with a wood grain, but this has real wood.
Cool. So this is what now?
This is the Dynaflow, 1949 Buick Dynaflow, out of that estate wagon.
Okay.
And the parking pawl had some wear in it right here. I don't know if you can see how the edge is rounded off. You can see the edge over here maybe is where it's supposed to be, and this is rounded. So I've got one of these coming from Ohio. So I can't finish putting that together until I get this. I've got the gearbox taken care of. I've got the valve body taken care of. I've got the converter taken care of. But you can't put the converter together and put it in. You assemble the converter in the transmission.
Oh.
So once I get the tail on, I'll get the bell housing on, I'll get the converter together, then we'll put the valve body and the pan on. But this is pretty much ready to go together once I get this parking pawl assembly.
Now, somebody that makes a new one, or you
No.
found a...
Yeah, we have sources that have vintage stuff.
Okay.
I have there's three main sources that I deal with. There's somebody local. He doesn't have these hard parts, but I got like the overhaul kit and stuff from him. There's another source in New Jersey. Actually, there is 4 sources. There's another source in Ohio that's where this is coming from, and I have another source on the West Coast.
Wow.
So the stuff is getting harder to find.
It is,
You know, a lot of the stuff they don't make anymore. My source in Massachusetts, like, he'll have the gaskets remade and stuff like that, but most of this stuff, you know, just doesn't exist on every street corner.
Right, right. So connections and networks.
That's my big advantage, because I know where to go.
Right. Exactly. Cool. All right. So we'll take a walk, and what else we got going on here?
Well, we have...
As I was telling you, this looks like a Mustang that my friend Mike had back in high school, and he lived around the corner from me, and his father was a dentist. All right, Steve, tell me about this one. This is...
We have my customer's 65 Mustang convertible. She's much younger than retirement age, but she is retired, and she always wanted a Mustang, so she bought this car. It's a 6-cylinder. It's a stick. Few little things, like it's got a custom dashboard in it, it's got a custom steering wheel, all LED lights, and it just needed a little attention, and I gave it some attention last season. Now it's time for a little more attention. She's gone out on a cruise for a while, so it's good downtime for the car. It's a good time for me to take it. And let's see what it looks like under the hood.
tidy.
Yeah, nice.
Proper.
Yeah, exactly. She loves cruising it around. She's a member of a couple of clubs, and she's just tickled to death with this thing. It's just what the doctor ordered. Now, I wouldn't mind having a Mustang convertible. I'd prefer a V8, but you know what?
It's
works.
fine, yeah.
It works.
I tell people often, I mean, it's a very nice car. It's
Yep.
not cheap, but it's not obscenely expensive.
It's not rusty. It's a driver quality car. There are some blemishes in it, but it's a very, very nice, solid car. And you know, it looks the part.
Yeah.
You want to see inside. Got that custom dashboard and the custom steering wheel.
Okay. But it's proper and it's cruise night and you can go out and have a ball with it.
And that's what she does.
Yeah.
She loves cruising this thing all over the place with her car club.
And it didn't cost a small fortune.
Right. Right.
Although there's nothing wrong with cars that cost a small
No,
fortune.
there isn't. But if you don't have to spend it, you don't have to spend
But
it.
for people that want to get involved in the hobby,
Right.
you can. I tell people that all the time.
That's correct.
Cool. So now this one's up in the air.
This one's up in the air. This car is a work in progress. This belongs to a friend of mine. And this is a 68 Imperial Crown convertible. It's one of 474 built in 1968.
Wow.
They didn't build a lot of Imperial convertibles.
Okay.
They didn't build a lot of Imperials because people bought Cadillacs and Lincolns, but the Imperial is a great car. And if you know anything about demolition derbies,
Yes.
some demolition derbies would not allow an Imperial because the frame on an Imperial, now this is a unibody because it's a 68.
Right.
Starting in 67, they had unibodies, but I have a 63 Imperial, and the frame is like the frame of a truck.
Okay.
These cars didn't crush easy, so
So they were an unfair advantage.
right. And the clamshell GM wagons from 71 to 76, a lot of demolition derbies wouldn't allow those either for the same reason, because the unfair advantage.
Ah, I got you. So it's a convertible.
Yep.
And again, work in progress.
Yep. I just rebuilt the transmission. I have to put a set of cooler lines in it because the original cooler lines were getting a little crispy. So we just got these yesterday.
But you can get them.
Oh, you can get them. There's a place called Inline Tube, and
I've used them.
they have it. They have it, and it's pretty good. It's not very expensive, and it was like $20 to ship a box like that, which I think is very reasonable.
Sure.
I sent a little box to Canada this morning. That was $30, and this was $20. So
There you go.
yeah.
So cool. So what else we got going on?
Well,
I see a rack full of transmissions.
Yeah, and the back of the building is a transmission shop that does modern stuff.
Okay.
So the far rack is his. This rack here is mine, and you can see there's mostly 60s and 70s transmissions. There's earlier ones down the bottom, but most of those are turbo 400s, turbo 350s, a torque flight. The top, there's a roto-hydromatic for a 61 to 64 Pontiac, and a lot of Pontiac stuff here.
Well, I remember. Steve, it's hilarious. I tell the story often that we met at the Beef Barn, but I interviewed a gentleman about his Dodge truck that he made an extended cab out of.
I know exactly.
Your friend.
I was with him today.
You're right. And he said, okay, now you need to talk to my wife. So I went and interviewed his wife about the car she was driving that night.
Her Austin.
Yes, that's what it was.
Austin Haley.
And then she said, well, you need to talk to my friend Steve. And you were across the aisle, and we talked about, I don't even remember what exactly it was, but I went to the Beef Barn pretty much weekly after that because there was always something new for me to see, and people knew. I didn't want to see the same stuff. Nobody wants to see the same.
300 cars every week.
Right. So I'd walk down the aisle, and I'd meet Steve, and Steve would say, hey, Mark, come see what I got this week. And you always had something cool and something different to talk about. So it's been fun. And I can't wait to get back there.
Beef Barn Cruise. I was there for lunch today, as a matter of fact. Beef Barn Cruise is going to start the first Tuesday after Memorial Day, so the first Tuesday in June.
Ah, awesome. Okay. I'm making my list and checking it twice. Cool. All right, well, let's go take a look and see what else we can find kicking around.
Okay.
So we got all kinds of fun stuff out here, Steve.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of place that driving down a country road, I'd probably want to stop at and say, whoa, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. So
Tell you a funny story about back in 2018. I got here in October 2017. Now, spring of 2018 comes, I've got the doors open, and people are coming by and jamming on the brakes. The Council of Aging is stopping, and people are calling this the Mendon Museum.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
In the little town of Mendon.
And there's a story behind that, too.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
So a little Ford pickup?
Yep. 51 Ford pickup, belongs to a friend of mine. He bought it out of Owl's Head Museum several years ago, and it just came back to me, and I got it up and running. I'm waiting for the windshield wiper motor to come back, and then we'll get it cleaned up, and that'll disappear.
Cool.
This truck is a blast to drive around here.
Yes.
I really wouldn't want to drive it on the highway, but it's a blast to drive around here in these 40, 45 miles an hour.
Because you get attention.
Yeah, but it's geared nicely for this. Got a little flathead V8.
Yeah.
Still 6-volt system.
And a better radiator.
And a better radiator, yeah. And then over here we have my 64 Bonneville wagon that I've had for about 5 years. This car, I'm the third owner of this car. Came from the West Coast. It was originally Pinehurst green, and the second owners painted it this color, which is Ford Island blue, which is very similar to the blue that Pontiac had.
Okay.
And this is a very well optioned car. It's a very solid car because it's not from around here.
Exactly. The disadvantage we have of being in
the Rust Belt.
The Rust Belt.
So now we have a customer's 41 Ford pickup that it only has one tail light from the factory. It doesn't have directionals, so I'm going to send this out to a shop that's better with electrical things than me because I have a color deficiency. You don't want me wiring your vehicle. This also has a little flathead V8. It's a cool little truck.
And it's red.
Yes. Basically the same engine as that, except this has that stupid distributor in the front.
Oh, okay.
We converted it to Petronics, so it'll start because those distributors were a problem. And now we have over here a project. Look at the inspection sticker. This is my
Looks like the one I dug out of my basement and was one of those I'm going to get to it someday projects.
This was in a barn since 1990, and this is the customer's great-grandfather's car. It hadn't run.
So it's got a story.
Yeah, it hadn't run in years. I went down there, I tried to move the engine. It didn't seem like it wanted to move. I got it. I went back down there. I put oil down the cylinders. I brought it here. I put it on the lift. And the reason why the engine wouldn't turn, because the alternator was frozen and the fan belt was frozen to the alternator. We cut the belt, and the thing started up.
Imagine that.
We rebuilt the carburetor. We rebuilt the fuel pump. We put Petronics. We did a tune-up. I put a radiator in it. I put a water pump in it. Put a thermostat in it. Did all the brakes. It needs some welding in the back. My welder can't do it for a while, but it's a stick shift, 3 on the tree.
And it's just a cool old car.
Yeah.
And it means something to the owner.
It means something to the owner, exactly.
The stories are where it's at.
Exactly. Exactly.
Get out and make some memories.
And we have this Grand Prix over here. This is a funny story.
I've always liked those. I had a Monte Carlo, similar vintage.
Same body.
Yeah.
This car, as you can see, is the air-conditioned model.
Yeah. Oh.
This car came from Martha's Vineyard.
Okay.
My friend bought it in 1993 with 4,600 miles on it. It's got 40,000 on it now. The body's pretty bad. The interior is nice. It's just full of junk. I tried starting it the other day. I sprayed ether in it, and I turned the key, and it started.
Okay.
But it's a 301 engine. It's not a 400 engine, so whatever.
Okay.
But somebody will this car will end up going to somebody for the interior or this, that, and the other thing and something else, but it's something.
It's got a lot of good parts. But.
Let's not look at that. That's a sore subject.
Okay. Cool.
When I first got it.
I think, yeah, this is the one I've seen.
Yeah.
This is the
Bonneville Brougham.
yes, and you told me the story, what makes it a Brougham and all that. Okay.
And then I have my 263 Imperials over here. This one is for sale, where that's in the process. This blue car has a burgundy interior. That's a 32,000 mile 63 Imperial.
Wow.
It's very neglected, but it's 32,000 mile car, cord blue with a burgundy interior. That to me doesn't work. I'm gonna paint it that color.
Okay.
The claret red, I think they call it. So once I get the brakes situated, then that car's gonna go out and get redone.
Okay.
So we have a Metropolitan, which
Those are cute.
is, you're in Metropolitan Alley. When they put the lift in here, they were gonna put this lift over a little further. Goes, no, we wanna make it as wide as we can. So there's room for 2 Metropolitans. So I call this area Metropolitan Alley.
Okay.
That's my daughter's 64 Le Mans, which in the probably 15 years or so that she's owned it, she's probably driven it 4 times.
Okay.
And it's just a work in progress. This is a 55 Chrysler New Yorker with 52,000 miles on it. I've owned it twice. The person I sold it to had an unfortunate accident. The car was apart, and the family wanted me to have it back. So I have that car back. And when you have too many projects, you can't get to them. Customer
yes.
cars come first.
Yeah, well, you got to keep the lights on, right?
So now this, I worked on this car at my other shop in West Roxbury, and then he had some problems and he contacted me, and I rebuilt the transmission. We did a few other things, and now I just put tires on it. And if you look in the back, you'll see a wiring harness hanging off.
Hanging off the bumper, okay.
Trying to get everything stretched out. So I have a friend of mine coming in, and he's going to put that harness in this week, and then this car can go back to the customer. But this is a very nice car. This is not the original color combination, but I love it. So that's that. This is a 51 Pontiac Chieftain Deluxe straight 8.
Now, it's just seems like is that the color of the interior as well as the top?
I think the interior is gray. Like
Oh, okay. All
You
right.
want to get a shot of the back seat.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's quite a car.
But the exterior body color just seems like a different.
This is not, I think that might have been available, but that was not the original color of the car.
Oh, I see. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you, my friend, have too much fun.
I try. I try.
And you keep and you've had other stuff, and you probably have other stuff tucked away other places.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, every week I saw you with something different at the Beef Barn, and
Yeah.
when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
We've got a couple of years to go.
Yeah.
I just picked up, and really out of my realm, I picked up a 69 AMC Rebel SST 4-door sedan with 38,000 miles. Original Cumberland, Rhode Island car, original paint.
Wow.
That happens to be home because this is here because I drove it home. And I'm waiting to do a couple of little things, and then I picked up a 65 Rambler Classic 770 with 57,000 miles that the people were AMC collectors, and they bought the car in 1988 with 51,000 miles. It's got 57 on it now.
Wow.
So,
wow.
It's just, I need it like I need a hole in the
Oh,
head.
sure, but you can never have too many.
No,
You know,
it's just space. They have to be inside.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Well, Steve, I thank you for your time. I appreciate the chatting about cars and
Feel free to come back anytime. Hopefully, when I get that estate wagon wrapped up, you can come down. We can take it for a ride.
oh, that would be awesome.
I have no problem with that.
That'd be awesome. Folks, leave a comment in the comment box if you'd like to take the car for a road test. All right, Steve.
Thanks
Thanks
Mark.
again, man.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the Beef Barn.
Yes, you will.
All right. Thanks to Steve at Peluso Precision Automotive for the tour. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, I ask you to do me a favor. If you liked it, click the like button, hit the subscribe, and ring the notification bell, because there's a lot of cool stuff more to come. It's almost cruising time, folks. Get your cars ready, get out there, and be ready to go when the cruise nights and car shows happen. As we showed you today, it doesn't take a bazillion dollars to have fun with an old car. Just get grandma or grandpa's old car out and get it running and have some fun with it, because the stories are where it's at. Again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Let's go car cruising. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this shop and the video there, and I'll see you over there.